Okay, so I know this is random. I'm actually in my bathrobe getting ready for a party, but I had to share this with you, okay? So, Napoleon Hill once said, every adversity, every heartache, every disappointment carries with it a seed of greater or equal opportunity. Every adversity, every disappointment, every heartache carries with it a seed of equal or greater opportunity. Okay, put that right there. I was driving around today and I was thinking about Kim Kardashian. I was thinking about the Kardashians as a whole, and especially Kim Kardashian. Like, I really, really love her and I admire her work ethic, because she had what could have been a an adverse situation years, decades ago, whatever it was. I don't know, but whatever. She had a situation, and from that adversity, her mom, who was like the bomb, I love that lady. I love how she moves, but took that along with Kim, took those situations, took that adversity, and built this empire with it. Okay, and it just goes to show. And of course, the Bible always talks about it, because there's nothing we can do that can separate us from the love of God. But that's a different story. But always the main story. But no matter what we have been hurt by, disappointed by, people, relationships, opportunities, jobs, misunderstandings, whatever the case may be, there are so many people walking around right now with a misunderstanding. They are upset with somebody because of something they the way they misinterpreted and all that. They're holding on to that. But with every adversity, disappointment, and heartbreak, there is a seed of equal or greater opportunity. The question is, what will you do with that seed? You understand what I'm saying? Perspective is everything. Okay, so like, what will you do with that seed? If it is a, I don't know, breakup. If it's a breakup and it truly hurt, whether it was your fault or their fault, or, well, both of your faults, whatever, what will you do with it? What will you learn? Will you learn to date differently, value yourself differently, so that you don't get with that same person? Will you learn, or that type of person? Will you set a different standard where you may not allow what you allowed at one point? All of us have been with somebody at one point in our life. It's like, I was away with them that I have never been with anybody else, and I will never be that way again. You understand what I'm saying? So what was the seed of greater value? Can you take that situation and bless somebody else with it now? What will you do? Most courses that people create, including myself, are nothing but reflections of what we learned when we went through. The divorce course is nothing more than activities, wisdom, and thought processes that I wish I had and wish I knew when I went through my divorce. You know what I'm saying? So if it's a job loss, if you are no longer at a job, or you left a job, or you lost a job, or fired from a job, whatever, what is the seed of equal or greater opportunity that is in that? Is it you will no longer settle for a job? Is it that a job you don't want? Is it that you will move to better your skills or yourself to move into the career that you are actually passionate about? If you didn't get a job, with the disappointment, if that was a disappointment and you applied for a job and you didn't get a job, you thought somebody else should have got a job, role, whatever the case may be, what is your seed of equal or greater opportunity? No matter what it is, what is your seed of equal or greater opportunity? God himself doesn't waste words, and he doesn't waste wounds. I'm talking about wounds, things that hurt. And if he doesn't do it, how much more should we not? So, what advantage of any situation that is happening or has happened that maybe you're holding on to, it's a shadow on you, it's a sadness in you, it carries a weight on you, what will you do with that seed today? How will you water it? Like, seriously, I need to put my light bulb in. They took my light bulb down and then take it back. That's a different story. I'm sorry, squirrel. But what will you do to water it today? Will you make the phone call? If there's an apology that needs to be made, will you make it? If there's a reconnection that needs to be done, will you do it? If there's an application that needs to be put in, will you put it? If there's an invention that needs to be done, will you invent? If there's a creative process that needs to take place, will you create? What will you do? Because you have the seed. You have the adversity. You know, when you're digging a ground, right? When you're digging the ground and you're plowing, remember plow, we talked about that last week or something like that. But anyway, when you're plowing, you have to dig up some stuff. You have to cut through some tough muck. I'm from Florida. We got some place called Muck City, and that's some soil out there. That's that good soil too. But you gotta pluck it up. You gotta pull up some stuff. You understand? You gotta go through. You gotta dig to make sure that the seed is deep enough. Well, it can't be easily uprooted. Sometimes the hurt, the disappointment, the betrayal, the manipulation, whatever it is so deep because the seed needs to be a little bit deeper. The seed needs to go a little bit deeper, and God knows that. It needs to go a little bit deeper so it can grow a little bit further, so you can be a little bit stronger, so you can do your thing. You understand what I'm talking about? So what do you need to plow to get that seed in the ground? And if you've already plowed, does it need to go deeper? And if it needs to go deeper, deal with it. That could be the feeling. That could be the feeling of the pain, of the hurt of what you went through. I gotta go deeper in this. I have to actually admit that I was wrong. I have to actually admit that I love them. I have to admit that I hurt them. I have to admit that I want them. I have to admit that I want it. I have to admit I didn't give my best. I have to admit that I lied. I have to admit that I didn't work hard enough. I had to admit there was a better way. You know what I'm saying? I walked away. Whatever. You know what it is, because you know that just like there's a shadow of my head. I think that's my head. Back down that wall, you know that there's a shadow, if there is a shadow of what you have. So you can clear it up. And when the shadow's gone, the light is shining. You'll be able to see. Don't keep walking around with just seeds partially planted because you're holding up your harvest. You feel me? And so with every adversity, with every disappointment, with every heartache, lies a seed of equal or greater opportunity. What opportunities are you leaving behind? And how can you go be great? Always think about Kim, the Kardashians, and so many other people. It's so easy for you to let people make you feel some type of way, or let you have some shame, or anybody that has failed. For God's sake, Ivory wouldn't float to the top or wouldn't float to the bottom. It wouldn't float to the bottom. Ivory soap was a mistake. It wouldn't. Every other soap floated to the bottom. Ivory floated to the top. And that's why they used to have that song 99.44, whatever it was, because it was the only soap at the time that would float. You understand? But he took that seed, that adversity, that disappointment, like, dang, my soap not like everybody else. And he made something that was actually greater. And Ivory was rocking when I was a kid. I never cared for it, but I just didn't like the smell. But that's a different story. But it was still the number one. My opinion didn't stop it from being number one for years. And other people's opinion shouldn't stop you either. So whatever it is that someone has tried to shame you, hurt you, down you, disappoint you, throw up in your face, put against you, take that opportunity. It is a seed for equal or greater opportunity if you water it right. And when it comes to haters, if they're truly haters, not just somebody that corrected you and you didn't like it, that's a different story. But if they continue just trying to mock you because they corrected you, then that turns into a hater. But that's a different story. Always remember this, and you can write it down. Haters wouldn't hate the way that they hate if they knew that their hate would only help you. Haters wouldn't hate the way that they hate if they knew that their hate would only help you. So no word or wound is wasted. You are valuable. You're important. I don't care who you are or what you've done. I've worked in the jails. You understand what I'm saying? And everyone has value because God don't make no junk. Now, do we make dumb decisions and bad decisions and do some things? Yes, we do. And that's just bad. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to live in that identity. You can change on a dime. You can start a diet in the middle of a bag of potato chips if you choose. So what will you choose today? What will you water today? And how can you go be great today? And I'm about to get ready and do my makeup and get about this robe. So love, bless, and appreciate you like a lot.